Hello everyone. I know that sometimes it can be hard to drift off to sleep, but don't worry, I'm here to help. Tonight I have a soothing and magical story just for you, perfect for relaxing and easing into a peaceful slumber. I'm excited to take you on a special journey while I'm drawing. We'll be exploring the enchanting world of Neverland in our story, The Enchanted Night with Peter Pan. So, find a comfortable place, let your imagination take flight, and let's embark on a magical adventure together. Relax and enjoy the story. Once upon a time, in a cozy nursery in London, a little girl named Wendy Darling was preparing for bed. Her younger brothers, John and Michael, were already nestled under their blankets, their faces glowing with the soft light of the bedside lamp. Wendy had been telling them tales of adventure and magic, her voice weaving stories of far-off lands. As she finished her story, she tucked them in, and the room grew quiet. But on this special night, something extraordinary was about to happen. A soft, fluttering sound filled the room, and suddenly a boy with a mischievous grin and a green outfit appeared at the window. His name was Peter Pan, and he had come to invite Wendy and her brothers on a magical adventure. "Hello there," Peter called out, his voice as light as a breeze. "I'm Peter Pan, and I'm here to take you to Neverland, a place where you can always stay young and have endless adventures." Wendy, John, and Michael blinked in amazement. They had heard of Neverland in their dreams, but never thought they would visit it. Peter Pan waved his hand, and a sprinkle of fairy dust floated around them, making them feel light and airy. "To fly, you just need to think happy thoughts," Peter instructed with a twinkle in his eye. The children thought of their happiest moments, and soon they were soaring through the night sky, leaving their home behind and heading towards the stars. As they flew over London, the city below looked like a miniature model, with twinkling lights and winding streets. Peter led them towards the vast, starry expanse, and soon they were entering the magical realm of Neverland. Neverland was a world full of wonders. There were lush, green forests where the trees whispered secrets, sparkling lakes that glowed with the light of the moon, and playful creatures who danced in the moonlight. The first place they visited was the Lost Boys' treehouse, where Peter's friends, the Lost Boys, lived. They greeted Wendy, John, and Michael with joyful cheers and invited them to join in their games and feasts. The Lost Boys were playful and full of laughter. They had a feast under the stars, with food that seemed to appear out of nowhere, and magical music that filled the air with cheer. Wendy marveled at the beauty of the Neverland night sky, while John and Michael enjoyed the playful antics of the Lost Boys. After the feast, Peter Pan took them on a quiet flight over Neverland's most beautiful sights. They glided over the shimmering mermaid lagoon, where mermaids sang soft, enchanting melodies. They saw the majestic fairyland, where tiny fairies fluttered and played among the flowers. The night was filled with gentle breezes and the soft glow of moonlight. As they flew, Peter Pan shared stories of his adventures and the magical creatures that lived in Neverland. Wendy and her brothers listened with wide-eyed wonder, feeling a sense of peace and happiness. Eventually, Peter Pan led them to a serene, moonlit meadow, where they could see the twinkling stars reflected in a crystal guided them back to their home. They hovered above their house, looking down at the familiar rooftop and the twinkling lights of their bedroom window. Peter gently lowered them back inside, and the fairy dust that had helped them fly softly settled around them. "Thank you for joining me on this adventure," Peter said softly. "Remember, Neverland is always here whenever you need a little magic in your life." Wendy, John, and Michael, feeling a warm, comforting glow from their adventure, snuggled back into their beds. Peter Pan waved goodbye and disappeared out the window, his laughter echoing like a soft breeze. As the first light of dawn began to touch the edges of the night sky, the children drifted into a deep, peaceful sleep, their dreams filled with the magic of Neverland and the promise of more adventures to come. And so, in the quiet of their nursery, they rested, knowing that with a little bit of magic and a sprinkle of fairy dust, their dreams could take them anywhere. Now, let's move to another story that reminds me of my childhood. It is Alice's Dreamy Adventure in Wonderland. I'm sure many of you love this story. Once upon a time, in a peaceful countryside, there was a young girl named Alice who loved to spend her afternoons exploring and daydreaming. One sunny afternoon, as she sat by the riverbank with her sister, Alice saw a white rabbit dressed in a coat, checking a pocket watch and muttering to itself about being late. Curious as ever, Alice decided to follow the rabbit. She chased him through the tall grass and into a large burrow. Without thinking, she crawled after him, tumbling down a long, twisting tunnel. As she fell, she floated gently, surrounded by shelves and curiosities that seemed to hover in midair. At last, Alice landed softly in a beautiful, strange garden, full of vibrant flowers and talking creatures. She found herself in the heart of Wonderland, a magical land where everything was whimsical and unusual. The first creature she met was a friendly Cheshire cat, who appeared and disappeared with a mischievous grin. "Welcome to Wonderland," said the cat, his voice echoing gently. "Here, you'll find that everything is not quite as it seems." Alice wandered through the garden, marveling at the peculiar sights. She came upon a table set for tea, but there was no one there. Suddenly, the Mad Hatter and the March Hare appeared, sitting at the table, engaged in a never-ending tea party. "Do join us," invited the Mad Hatter with a cheerful smile. "There's always room for one more at our tea party." Alice sat down, and they served her tea and cakes. The conversation was delightfully nonsensical, filled with riddles and laughter. The Mad Hatter told her about the Queen of Hearts, a ruler known for her love of playing croquet with flamingos and hedgehogs. As Alice enjoyed her tea, she noticed a curious door hidden among the flowers. The door led to the Queen's garden, a place of both wonder and whimsy. Alice decided to visit the Queen, hoping to learn more about this fascinating land. In the Queen's garden, everything was colorful and chaotic. The Queen of Hearts herself, with her fiery temper and striking red dress, was busy overseeing a game of croquet. The croquet game was unlike any other, with flamingos as mallets and hedgehogs as balls. Despite the Queen's stern demeanor, Alice found the garden enchanting. She admired the beautiful rose bushes, which were being painted red by the Queen's guard soldiers. They were supposed to be white roses, but the Queen had ordered them to be painted red to avoid her wrath. feast was extravagant, with delightful treats and entertaining performances by the card soldiers. After the banquet, Alice continued her exploration of Wonderland. She met the White Rabbit again, who was now frantically searching for a pair of lost gloves. Alice helped him find the gloves, and in gratitude, the White Rabbit invited her to a whimsical trial in the courtroom of Wonderland. The trial was filled with peculiar characters and amusing testimonies. The King of Hearts presided over the court, with the Queen of Hearts watching closely. Alice observed the proceedings with a sense of wonder, enjoying the absurdity of Wonderland's legal system. As the trial concluded, Alice felt a growing sense of drowsiness. She found a cozy spot under a tree and began to drift off. The world of Wonderland seemed to fade away, and she felt herself gently floating back through the burrow she had first fallen into. Alice awoke to find herself back by the riverbank, where her sister was still sitting reading a book. She looked around, wondering if it had all been a dream. But the gentle breeze, the soft sunlight, and the peaceful river seemed to remind her of the magical adventure she had just experienced. With a smile, Alice stood up and joined her sister, feeling content and happy. She knew that Wonderland was a place of dreams and imagination, and she would always cherish the whimsical journey she had taken. And so, with a heart full of wonder and a spirit uplifted by her adventure, Alice enjoyed the rest of her day, knowing that her dreams were always just a little bit closer than she had imagined. Now, let's move to another story. It's the gentle adventures of Mole and Friends. Once upon a time, in a peaceful river valley, there lived a humble mole who was content with his simple life. Mole had recently ventured out of his cozy burrow for the first time, eager to explore the world beyond. One bright and sunny morning, Mole found himself near the riverbank, where he encountered a cheerful water rat, often called Ratty. Ratty was a kind and friendly creature, and he invited Mole to join him on a leisurely boat ride along the river. As Mole and Ratty floated down the gentle river, Mole marveled at the beauty of the countryside. The banks were lined with lush greenery, and the air was filled with the sweet songs of birds. Ratty spoke of his love for the river and the simple joys of life by the water. The river is like a friend, Ratty explained. It's always there for you, and it never grows old. Mole listened with admiration, feeling a sense of peace and contentment as they drifted along. The river carried them past tranquil meadows and sleepy villages, and Mole felt as if he were floating through a dream. One day, Ratty introduced Mole to another friend, the wealthy and somewhat eccentric Mr. Toad. Toad was known for his wild adventures and impulsive nature. He had recently become obsessed with motor cars, a fascination that led him to buy a new car and drive it with great enthusiasm. "Come along, Mole," Toad exclaimed, inviting them to join him on a grand drive. "We'll explore the countryside in style." Mole and Ratty accepted the invitation, and they set off with Toad, who drove them along winding roads and through picturesque landscapes. Though Toad's driving was somewhat reckless, the journey was filled with excitement and laughter. As they traveled, Toad told stories of his many adventures, including his daring travels eventually brought them to the home of another friend, the wise and reserved Badger. Badger lived in a grand old house tucked away in the woods. His home was filled with warmth and comfort, and Badger welcomed them with open arms. During their visit, Badger shared his wisdom and tales of the forest. He spoke of the changing seasons and the beauty of the natural world. Mole, Ratty, and Toad listened intently, feeling grateful for the peaceful retreat and the company of their dear friend. As the seasons changed, Mole, Ratty, Toad, and Badger continued to enjoy their time together. They went on many more adventures, from exploring hidden glades to celebrating the joys of each season. One winter, a particularly harsh storm swept through the valley. The river rose, and the countryside was blanketed in snow. Mole and Ratty, along with Toad and Badger, found themselves snowed in at Badger's home. They spent their days telling stories, playing games, and enjoying the warmth of the fire. The storm eventually passed, and spring returned to the valley. The river flowed gently once more, and the landscape began to bloom with new life. Mole, Ratty, Toad, and Badger ventured outside to celebrate the arrival of spring. They took a boat ride down the river, admiring the vibrant colors and the fresh, fragrant air. Mole reflected on the many adventures they had shared and the friendships they had deepened. He felt a profound sense of happiness and gratitude for the simple joys of life and the companionship of his friends. As the days grew longer and the sun warmed the valley, Mole knew that life would continue to bring new adventures and challenges. But with his friends by his side, he felt ready to face whatever came his way. And so, with hearts full of joy and the spirit of friendship guiding them, Mole, Ratty, Toad, and Badger continued their gentle adventures, savoring each moment and cherishing the beauty of their world. As the sun set over the tranquil river, Mole settled into his cozy burrow, feeling content and at peace. He drifted off to sleep, knowing that his dreams would be filled with the warmth of friendship and the gentle adventures that awaited him in the days to come. I'll tell you the last story for tonight and hope you guys enjoy it. The last story will be The Moonlit Garden and the Starry Quest. Once upon a time, in a quaint little village nestled between rolling hills, there was a secret garden that only appeared under the light of the full moon. This magical garden was known to a curious young girl named Lily, who had always been enchanted by its shimmering beauty. One evening, as the full moon began to rise, casting its silver glow over the village, Lily tiptoed through the tall grass towards the garden. The moonlight illuminated the entrance, revealing a gate adorned with delicate, glowing flowers. With a gentle push, Lily entered the garden, her heart filled with wonder. Inside, the garden was alive with soft, magical lights. The flowers glowed with hues of blue, pink, and lavender, and the air was filled with a sweet, melodic hum. The centerpiece of the garden was a large, ancient oak tree with a trunk that sparkled like stardust. As Lily approached the tree, she noticed a small, sparkling note hanging from one of its branches. She reached out and carefully unrolled it. The note read, "To find the star of dreams, follow the path of moonlight, and listen to the whispers of the night." Excited by the challenge, Lily followed the path, which was lined with glowing lanterns that flickered rustling gently, the flowers humming in harmony. Each whisper seemed to guide her steps. The path led her to a tranquil pond with water as clear as crystal. The surface of the pond reflected the moonlight, creating a magical, sparkling effect. At the edge of the pond, Lily saw a small, shimmering boat. With a gentle push, she set the boat afloat and climbed in. As the boat glided across the pond, Lily admired the reflections of the twinkling stars above and the glowing flowers around the water's edge. The boat carried her to a secluded island in the center of the pond, where a beautiful, radiant flower bloomed. It was the Star of Dreams, its petals shimmering with all the colors of the night sky. Lily approached the flower, feeling a sense of awe. She gently touched its petals, and a soft, melodious chime echoed through the garden. The Star of Dreams began to glow even brighter, casting a warm, soothing light over the entire garden. As she admired the flower, Lily noticed that the garden was becoming even more vibrant. The lantern shone brighter, and the whispers of the night seemed to sing with joy. The garden was celebrating the finding of the Star of Dreams. With a heart full of wonder and a smile on her face, Lily made her way back to the boat. She floated back across the pond, the light of the Star of Dreams guiding her way. As she reached the edge of the garden, she took one last look at the magical world she had explored. Before leaving, Lily made a wish upon the Star of Dreams, a wish for continued wonder and magic in her life. She knew that the garden's magic would always be with her, a gentle reminder of the beauty and mystery that lay just beyond the ordinary. As Lily stepped back into the village, the first light of dawn began to appear on the horizon. The secret garden faded from view, but its magic lingered in her heart. She walked home with a sense of peace and joy, ready to dream of her next adventure. And so, under the soft glow of the early morning light, Lily drifted into a restful sleep, her dreams filled with the enchanting whispers of the moonlit garden and the radiant Star of Dreams. I hope you're feeling relaxed and ready for sleep. May your dreams be filled with magic. Good night, and see you in the next video.